I said we speaking and we peeping. La-da-da-da-do. I said we speaking and we peeping.
Alright, Pip. Back again. 6 years later. Speaking and Peepin, S&P, not to be confused with the S&P 500. And
right.
We're Speaking and Peepin again in person now. So thank you for providing us the space here at Step 1 in Thomas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you again for being here. A legend in the Sacramento dance fitness game. So one of my mentors.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled.
Yes. Thank you for being here. I want this to be organic, as I expressed to you, so I'm not going to have a prompt or questions, but to be different from the last time we met, right? I just want to start with the climate of the world today. What do you feel we as society need to be better at?
Need to be better at acknowledging each other more as we're the same.
Expand on that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we've taught ourselves as a human race, levels of hierarchy and difference and separation and segregation and divisiveness, and you know what I mean? We've taught ourselves that, and we've accepted that is a healthy norm. And situation after situation, century after century, it proves to not be the healthiest.
Not the case, right?
No, not the healthiest existence choice for humanity.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay, and so when are we going to get it together to say, divided we fall? And that doesn't mean just in a household, in a community, in a neighborhood,
all settings,
no, everything, all the way up to zooming all the way out to Google Earth. Divided we fall.
Divided we fall. Okay. So we have to move together.
Absolutely. So that I think we can learn better. And Grandmama and them used to always say, "Don't let life have to teach you."
You gotta bump your head. You bump your head too many times, you might not come back.
That's right. Yeah, you think the lessons you've learned so far that that didn't feel, sound, smell, or taste good was rough.
Right.
Don't let life have to teach you.
That's powerful. That's powerful. I like that though. So being able to coexist, you would say,
absolutely.
So we're in a state of where we're all kind of dividing and they're trying to conquer, but we need to work together more, as we say from times past.
Right, and we can learn more from nature, right?
Grounding ourselves.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you look at like a flower garden, right? So many different types of flowers, different aromas, different roots, needs, different. You know what I mean? It's like some thrive more at night when the sun goes down. Some thrive more when the sun comes up. Some thrive more when it's less water. Some thrive more when it rains more. But yet they all grow together and become beauty together, right?
All at once.
Why can't we learn to embrace each other's differences from nature? That's the way it works.
That's very true.
Just like nature came with that intelligence already built in. Right? Because they did not design a resistance to that. Right? We came with that initially built in.
We're programmed the same way.
Absolutely. We just built a resistance to it, fueled by ego and all this stuff, bro.
It is. That's very true.
Yeah. So the simplicity is look around for what's natural and then do it the way they do it.
Pep-isms on this Sunday, y'all. I love it. Okay, so that's very knowledgeable and great wisdom. I think we all need to hone in on.
And simple.
And just focusing on what's around us and going back to the basics in that aspect. I agree to that.
Yes, sir.
With dance now, just kind of switching gears. And the political climate of dance in Sacramento and onward cities and just the world, what would you say, or what advice you would give from a beginner dancer to a advanced dancer on what we need to work on more in this current climate? What would you say, just kind of, I know that's a very broad question, but something you could say that you see all around that we could work on.
And I've seen decades and generation after multiple generations of just what you said.
Yes.
Now, when we say political climate of dance,
yes,
you know, in Sacramento, because we can always zoom out, right? But if we zoom in and say Sacramento, we know a few cases in our history where drinking the Kool-Aid didn't end well. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all might have to look that up, right?
Yeah.
Say, there was a couple of cases where, hey, drink this Kool-Aid did not end well for people. So I'm going to say, be careful of the Kool-Aid we drink, you know, when we're being served concepts, ideas, and everything in the dance industry, right? Yes. Just because it's sweet doesn't mean it's not arsenic. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
Okay.
That's powerful.
And just because you're thirsty doesn't mean you should jump and drink everything that's offered.
Might not be beneficial.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So for beginners, you know, coming into the industry,
yes,
you know, they come in with hopes and they come in with a vision.
Yes.
And they, you know what I mean? They come in wanting to be a part of something that's on the move, that has energy, right?
Yes.
That's evolving
constantly
and
growing.
right. Yeah, constantly changing and growing. Yeah, but it's the same for gang members. People go into gangs, right? I mean, because they want to be a part of something that has energy and on the move. I'm just saying,
yes,
when you attach yourself to something,
yes,
even if it's art, right? Even if it's culture,
yes,
know your why. Know why? Yes. Why do I want to be a part of this? You know, of this movement. Why do I want to be a part of this culture? You know what I mean? Why do I want to be a part of this community? What is that need in me, right? You know what I mean? So if I say, you know, is that need led by ego or is it led by spirit?
Spirit and love.
Correct. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you know, if you decide that the way this community or being connected or a part of this entity,
yes,
once you decide how that's going to serve you and how you're going to serve it, right? Is that service led by ego or is it led by spirit? What's your intention? And then once you decide that,
yes,
and I don't get to judge how you decide that, right? Because that's different per individual.
Correct.
But then go in 10 toes down. The only way out is all the way in.
That's deep. I mean? That's powerful. Yeah. I like that though. That's great knowledge. Not ego driven, and more spirit and love. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Correct. And then there's a nucleus concept.
Yes.
Hold on to that as you advance and progress in the dance industry. Don't lose it because now all of a sudden you've got a contract. You know what I mean? Don't lose that because all of a sudden you got 1 million followers. You don't have the luxury of losing that, you know what I mean, just because you're on a world or global stage.
As they say, as they call it, and no disrespect to fellow folks watching who may live in Hollywood, but going Hollywood on them, right? You don't want
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So
know your roots, know where you come from.
Absolutely, yeah. And just stay true, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Stay true. What's that? The cliche is, let the man make the money, don't let the money make the man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right. And when we say money, we don't mean just, you know,
just monetary gain. Right.
No, we're talking about, you know, the fans and the lights and the popularity, right? Any of that.
That's all ego.
Yes. Any of that stuff. You know, don't let that make you. You know what I mean? You make it. Yeah.
Dropping gems. Yep. We on it. And this is organic. I like it. Thank you for that. That answer was wonderful. Next question I want to say or ask is, let's see. You're very wise and have a ton of intellectual knowledge. What is your morning routine to stay with this constant vibe, this constant perspective that you have? How do you stay in this state? What helps you do this every day you wake up? Can you give some game to people who are trying to align themselves like this?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, one of the concepts or mindsets that I live by is we have to live in this crazy world. We're not of this crazy world.
We have to live in this.
Right.
Yes.
Because we have to not only survive in the world and meet it where it is, but we have to thrive in it as we meet it where it is.
Right. And how do we do that?
So when I wake up in the morning, my dad even said, all right, you're about to go out in this world. And if you remember, the same time yesterday, you were preparing to step out into this world and suck up air for 24 hours.
Right.
Until you're back to this point again.
And do it all
Okay,
over.
so if I'm getting ready to step out into this world and suck up air for this entire day, what do I need from it? And what am I willing to offer it back for allowing me to suck up air for this whole day?
So it's not just
You
a
mean-
selfish act and you're giving into.
Absolutely. They'll say, if it's not a two-way street, you're on the wrong road.
One more time. If
If it's not a two-way street, then you're on the wrong road. In other words, you know, your responsibility to give something, to be of service, right?
not just
to
take.
acknowledge, not just take.
Giving,
However,
give and take, yeah.
It should serve you in some way as well,
As well.
meaning the two-way street.
It's a
right?
mutual
It's
exchange.
a mutual exchange, absolutely. So when I get up in the morning, you know, if I just go to the window, grab the curtain, and go, shh, and go, I'm back. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm back. And that's just me showing gratitude to say, I've got another day.
That's right.
You know
Not
what I mean?
everyone wakes up and is able
Absolutely.
to open those blinds and experience it again another 24, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't set expectations on it to say, well, if it's not like this, then it doesn't work for me and I'm out. No, bro. I'm just like, shh, I'm back. Whatever you bring, let's do this dance.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
If the sun's shining, if it's thunderstorm, it doesn't matter. Whatever you bring, let's do this dance together. You
Make
ready?
it back again
Yeah,
for another.
absolutely.
With a smile on.
With a smile on,
Yeah,
right?
no
You know what I mean?
doubt, no
Nope.
negativity like your door says. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, yeah.
So that's-
Because you have no idea, because we don't think about it. You have no idea how many times you see your own reflections every day.
Right.
You see your own reflection from the moment you're, washing the morning gook out of your eyes and brushing your teeth, right? To the moment you walk up to your car and see your reflection in the window of your car,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Every building you pass, how many times you go in the bathroom at work or in the park during the day?
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? We see our reflections so many times a day. And that's your first signal that's giving back to you, right? What type of vibration do you see on your facial calling card? You see what I mean?
So you got to check it in the mirror sometimes.
You see it all day, you're just not aware of it.
Right.
So if you don't see glow in your face, if you don't see blessings and I'm going to go beyond just blessings, if you don't see blessings with an attitude, right? That's
right.
Blessings with an attitude on your face throughout the day, and all these multiple times you see your own reflection, right? Then you're missing something. That's not fair to you.
That's right.
You show up for you, right?
Yes.
You show up for you first before you show up for others, right?
Agreed.
If you don't, if you just see like discontent and frustration and anger and resentment, you see all that, that's your first calling card.
That's right.
All you're going to do is invest in magnifying those energies.
And project that
Right,
out.
and project that out on others. Right, you see what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, so every day when the morning start, I go, I've already decided,
Excuse me.
yeah, I've already decided this is the day I'm gonna have. People say, well, Pepper, well, what if it don't? You know what I mean? Well, what if somebody, cut you off and then flips you off of that? That's not a Pepper problem.
That's right.
Right, you know what I mean?
But it's maneuvering.
Yes, I've already decided
Yes.
that I'm having a glorious day. And here are three of my favorite words.
What's it?
In spite of.
In spite of.
That's right.
That's
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't tell the world how to do its thing in my journey of learning lessons.
Right.
I just know how I'm going to show up in spite of.
You're only responsible for your own actions
Absolutely.
and not the actions of
Yeah.
others. Yes.
And I'm not waiting on something, amazing to happen by noon. No, I wake up and set that intention. That's on me.
Just from
I got to be accountable.
Right
Because
as you
when
wake.
that day is over,
Yes.
all right, I got to look at my bookends, right? How did I choose to start my day? And then when my day is over, before my head hit the pillow, I get to say, and how'd you do?
Check in with yourself.
Yes,
and
let me make an
reflect. Yes.
assessment.
Right.
What did I learn today? I sucked up air all day.
What did you learn?
What did I learn? I encountered hundreds of people and had all these experiences, opportunities. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter.
What did I learn today? In spite of the fact that I stubbed my toe, in spite of the fact that I got stopped by a red light when I was in a hurry, in spite of the fact that someone looked at me and gave you that, doesn't matter. Right. In spite of that, what type of day did I choose?
That's right.
That morning to be accountable for.
And it's all about perspective, it sounds like, in not letting those smaller issues affect your whole well-being and project negativity on your life. Like
bro, if I had $1 for every time someone said, I'm having a horrible day. No, you probably had one challenging moment that you have now magnified over your whole day. And why would you choose to do that?
And that's your own choice, correct?
Choose, right. And when I talk about choice in a lot of the community service work I do, when I talk about choice, I say choice.
Yes.
It's your number one superpower, which is a birthright.
That's deep.
A birthright.
That's right.
In other words, you don't need anyone's permission to have choice.
Correct. It's your own birthright.
That's your birthright. Yes. And it's a superpower.
And I think a lot of people forget this, of just going through daily motions and forget you're just, you have that right to choose.
Yeah, you get to choose how you're going to respond to whatever.
Right.
You get to choose.
That's
now, what came to you may not have been your choice, but how you interact on an energy level, energy exchange, that's a choice.
That's
you see what I mean?
That's very
so I guess the metaphor is you may not, have choice or in full control of the hand that you're dealt. Mm-hmm. But you do have choice of how you're going to play and play the hand. Yes, right. Exactly.
Play
right.
For real. Yeah.
Choice. So one side of the coin is choice. Oh, superpower. The other side of the coin, opposite of that, is victim.
And I think a lot of people choose to victimize.
Right. They're right. And be a victim because they forget that they had a choice in this process. Absolutely. If I had $1 for every time someone said, bro, I had to do that. I had to show up like that because I didn't have a choice.
You did, yeah.
You did have a choice.
And you chose to.
You chose this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the outcome that comes with that, bro, that's your learning. That's your growth.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Like you said, Grandma said you got to bump your head and that might be a time. But you'll eventually learn.
Right. Yeah, Course in Miracles says you will learn.
Yes.
Now, how long it takes you to learn about which means, that's up to you.
That is up
but
to
you will learn.
Absolutely. May take you millions times.
That's right. Yeah.
Two times.
You're not learning is not an option.
Yeah, and everyone's course and path is different. So.
But we're all at Earth School.
Earth School.
What do you do at any school? Learn. That's the reason you show up at any school.
That's right. Continue to learn, constant growth. As what I'm doing right now, we're doing with Speakin Peepin, So we got them here, Pepper Vaughn in the flesh, and just dropping pepper-isms, as I like to call them. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Lastly, Pep, I don't want to make this too short or too long, but he'll be back. He'll be back. Yeah. And he's always dropping knowledge. But I'm going to ask you this, something just to leave us with, to kind of maneuver to our next exchange, our next Speakin Peepin. What do you want to just leave the world with, or even myself? But let's talk to the world. Let's say, what do you want to leave the world with at this time?
Just keep in mind that movement doesn't stop.
Movement doesn't stop.
We're never infinitely stationary. Like, where we go. I've arrived. Boom. Lock in. That's it. I don't go into prayer from here. That's not the way it works. Because we are energy in motion.
Right.
Our spirit, energy in motion. Our soul, energy in motion. You know what I mean? Our thoughts, energy in motion. Our vision, energy in motion. Right. And the two words are in motion. In motion. Right? You know what I mean?
Movement never stops.
Never stops. Movement never stops. Now, wherever you were yesterday.
Yes.
And yesterday meaning reflective for however many years, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Back there. Wherever you were yesterday, you were on your way to where you are today.
Right.
Wherever you are today, you're on your way to where you're going.
It's constant progression.
Constant progression. Right.
Movement in motion.
Movement in motion. That's what I'm saying, man. You know what I mean? Energy in motion. Energy in motion. Yeah. Right. So, so if we just keep in mind, just don't forget. the lesson that we're learning now
Yes.
is only temporary. If we look at life like a staircase,
Yes.
yesterday was one step.
Right.
Whether yesterday was 5 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yes.
It was one step. Now we're on another step. We're
right.
going to elevate to the next step, because energy never stops.
So what do you do when you reach that last step? Find a new
What
staircase?
last step?
That's right. Find a new staircase or just continue on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
new stairs.
Yeah. When you go, last step.
Right. There should never be a
Right.
end goal. It's constantly moving.
Yeah, where's the end of infinity?
There is none.
Exactly.
Yes.
So so as a people, as a species, as a human being, as an individual even,
Yes.
right? I've got to remember, I'm only where I am on the way to where I'm going. Because we get so caught up
Right.
and we forget that this is temporary, bro.
This is,
You know what I mean?
yes, yeah.
Right?
This too shall pass.
Yes, this too shall pass.
Yes.
That's exactly it. This too shall. We get so caught up in whatever it is, just like
Hone in on one moment. Right.
breathe, calm down, learn the lesson. That's why you're here.
Yes.
That's why you're having the experience. This too shall pass. Keep it moving.
Like that.
You know what I mean?
Constant motion, energy in motion.
Yeah.
Don't remain stagnant. Don't self-sabotage to the point where you're like, what am I doing here? It's gonna pass. But as long as you keep that mindset, that perspective of one step at a time, and there's no end.
No.
There's no end to those steps, and you keep going.
No. How has self-sabotage ever served you?
Never. It never does.
Exactly.
We all been there, but we have to learn that.
But that's part of the lesson journey.
Yes.
Right? You go, oh, if you eat something and you go, oh, and it made you sick.
Yes.
You know, how many times do you have to eat that?
To know.
Right.
You're right.
Right? So self-sabotage, any low vibration, right?
Talk to them.
Any low vibration,
Yes.
right, is the lesson to say, you know what? I don't have to live here. I don't have to stay here, right? What do you get to exercise? Your power of choice, your superpower birthright, right? You get to choose. Learn the lesson and keep it moving.
That's right.
Right? Because there's another one.
That's right. There is.
There's another one, right?
Yes.
So, man, bro, just stay calm, take the journey, put a smile on your face. That's your calling card to yourself.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Ty Tribbett says, we gonna be all right.
We gonna be all right. Do you hear me? We gonna be all right.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
We gonna be all right.
That's right.
By design, bro.
Yes.
By design. Yeah.
By design, absolutely.
Yeah. One of my mentors said once, he said, you know what? As hard as we try, we can't really even mess this up. And we do try.
We do.
Right, you know what I mean? Because we get caught up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
we get
especially
caught up.
self-sabotage. You shock yourself even in self-sabotage.
At the end of the day, we gonna be all right.
That's right.
You may feel in the moment
like
your heart just exploded. It fell to the pit of your stomach. All is lost. Blah, 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 blah. No. All these people that came before us that kept taking one step at a time based on what? Hope.
Hope and perseverance and resilience. Keeping on.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they knew on the physical plane as well as metaphysically.
Yes.
It is written as a law of nature. We gonna be all right.
It was already written. It was
written, right.
I think a lot.
You know what I mean?
We going too deep for some, but
right, exactly. Hey,
explore it, go down the rabbit hole, learn some.
No, we'll be back to dive deeper.
Absolutely.
Well,
this has been Speaking and Peeping, y'all. Episode 2 with Pepper Vaughn in person. Finally, my mentor here in Sacramento, legend in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So we thank you for just blessing us today and ending with a handshake, Pep.
Absolutely.
Love you for life. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And this is Speaking and Peeping. We out. Peace.